All right, so I have the final call here, and I'm going to read to you. It's yeah, the final call I was given to it. I have the final call here, and this is on page 10. This one says widely used chemical cocktails tied to gut damage, inflammation. Herbicide mixtures widely used on industrial farms may damage the gut, disrupt healthy bacteria, and trigger inflammation at exposure levels regulators currently consider safe. According to a new peer reviewed study, researchers say the findings raise urgent questions about how pesticide safety is evaluated, since regulators typically assess chemicals individually rather than as the chemical cocktails people encounter in the real world. By Brenda Belletti, PhD. The Defender. So I'm going to read a couple paragraphs and then I'm going to stop. This article was originally published by The Defender, Children's Health Defense News and Views website on May 14th, 2026. Herbicide mixtures widely used on industrial farms may damage the gut, disrupt healthy bacteria, and trigger inflammation at exposure level regulators currently consider safe, according to a new peer-reviewed study. The research published in April in Archives of Toxicology, examined glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer, alongside two other common herbicides, dicamba and 2,4-D. Rats exposed to the chemical combinations developed intestinal inflammation, tissue damage, oxidative stress, and signs of leaky gut. The findings raise concerns about how the safety of agrochemicals is typically evaluated because regulators generally assess chemicals one at a time rather than in the combinations people and wildlife are actually exposed to in the environment. This study, this study comprises the most comprehensive investigation of the impact of glyphosate on gut structure and function, the authors wrote. The study is also the first to examine the combined effects of glyphosate with dicamba and 2,4-D at regulatory relevant doses deemed to be safe, the authors said. The findings show that the levels of these herbicides, when ingested as a mixture, have adverse effects and are not safe at all, and that regulatory assurances of safety are false, according to GM Watch, which reported on study. The study, led by glyphosate expert Michael, that's a weird last name, Antonio, PhD, comes amid escalating concerns about chronic exposure to agricultural chemicals, particularly in communities near large-scale farming operations. Glyphosate, the key ingredient Roundup, has long been controversial because it may cause cancer. But scientists are increasingly focusing on more subtle biological disruptions, especially impacts on the gut microbiome, inflammation, and metabolic health. Antonio told GM Watch that the results of the study showed that such effects must be included in regulatory safety studies. It also shows that chemical pollutants need to be evaluated for toxicity as mixtures and not only as individual agents, as is currently practiced by regulators in all nations. So I'm going to stop right there because then it goes into something else, which I'm going to do on another video. But I want to say that, that's why How to Live is more important than what you expect. It's not just a religious thing. It's really based on your health. So it doesn't even matter if you're a vegetarian, a vegan, or a carnivore. If these things are actually planted and mixed in with your food in the farms, right, as they're being grown, then they're definitely in the food. So we could forget about the vaccines. The vaccines added to the food is just like a cherry on top to the people who are growing these foods and taking control over the land, right? But I'm not going to go into the vaccines. I'm focusing on here what this is talking about as it's in Roundup. Basically, something that they use when farming our foods and crop and the animals. And it's going into your system, which is specifically why hurry up, hurry up. So glyphosate meaning like causing inflammation and disruption in the bacterial microbiome, which is in the body, in the stomach and intestinal tract. That's where probiotics and enzymes do their magic. But if that's disrupted, that is exactly why your stomach cannot get smaller. So um, remember, years ago, people had slimmer stomachs just by, by default. These days, your stomach is huge, which is also a reason why How to Eat to Live is not just a religious following. It is so that you can actually save your life. So How to Eat to Live is also to save your life, because we are at war with those who are intoxicating our foods that we eat. If you are not growing your food and eating it and pulling it from the ground, then your food is intoxicated. I'm not going to say mine is not intoxicated, but this is also why I'm practicing doing what I'm doing. I am not telling you to jump on one meal every 48 hours. I'm just sharing this with you so that you can understand how dangerous the food is today and how it's affecting your health. Because now you could be eating healthy foods and your body is not even digesting it properly, because it's actually being disrupted by something called glyphosate, and also other mixtures of intoxicants that they use in the farmland and with the animals. And when mixed together, it's causing a concoction that is causing a whole metabolic disruption in your body, which can relate to a disease called cancer. And the reason why it causes cancer is because it makes your body more acidic. And if it makes your body more acidic in the gut lining of the stomach, which is why How to Live, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we must break fast with the navy bean soup. Because the navy bean soup is what coats your stomach, preventing other things that you eat to actually penetrate your stomach, because cancer literally starts in the stomach. If there's ulcers, things that's the stomach can become very acidic. Ulcers are holes in the stomach, and whatever vein that is connected from that part of the stomach to that organ, which is why you get cancer in that specific organ or area in your body. And if it's not detected right away because we overeat, right? Because we overeat, then what happens is the cancer now can travel throughout your system, and you get cancer in everywhere else in your body. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. So when I was on medication, right? Not when I was on medication, but damn. Let's see. They gave me this, right? And it was very interesting. And I did take it, and I still take it periodically. But for all the years of doing How to Eat to Live, I've been doing the navy beans and a lot of cream cheese. And I never listen to people when they say, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing a lot of cream cheese." Or, yo, there's a specific reason why I do things, because it literally coats the stomach. It coats the stomach. So unless you can tell me what coat, let me not get into an argument. So, anyways, omeprazole, right? This is omeprazole. So it looks like this. And they gave me this, and I looked it up, right? And this is what actually protects the stomach from actually being affected by all of the medication that I was taking. And I was like, "Ooh, wow, this is pretty cool," right? Because now when I saw this definitely told me, yeah, you better get on one meal every 48 hours for myself after this is done, just in general. Because if this protects your stomach, that means that the people in power know that there is something that can literally destroy you, even while trying to help you. You see what I'm saying? So that's why vitamins and minerals are dangerous. But you saw me take my vitamins. I take vitamins and stuff like that. But for years, I've been doing navy beans. So if you have not been doing navy beans in your meals and you're taking vitamins and supplements, and I've been telling you to fast, and you have not been seeing, the results that you've been looking for, is simply because your body is too acidic. Your the stomach lining of the stomach walls, the lining of your walls of the stomach is actually could be damaged, stretched, too acidic, not processing things optimally. And guess what? Now your body is at a more acidic level. So now when you go to sleep, your body is tend to eat itself away, right? And your metabolism is disrupted, and which is causing inflammation in the gut, right? By other different forms of ingredients and substances in the body and byproducts. And now when it's hard for you to make your stomach smaller, it's simply because your body's too acidic and it's filled with diseases, right? Isn't that pretty cool? Yo, this is so amazing. I swear to you, like, I'm really so close to. But this is so dope though. Like this is yo, this is so cool though. This is you can't front. This is literally dope though. Like how everything works and how everything is connected. So when reading How to Eat to Live and the Supreme Wisdom and Message to the Black Man and the Fall of America and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teachings and connecting it to today's modern day, knowledge, it really does make sense because it all comes down to what is called autoimmune diseases. The reason why we catch autoimmune diseases is simply because we are not in a state and physiology where our bodies need to be healthy, meaning that there's not enough trees, the water's not clean, the food isn't proper. So they're deliberately saying, hey, look, we have to make more, right? We have to make more lab rats people and give them diseases so that we can keep them going into the hospitals. And this is one of the huge, big industries that they're making money off of. If you have insurance or don't have insurance, you still have to come out of pocket because you're going to want to save your what? Your life. Yo, this is fire, B. So if you're not fasting, uh, life insurance. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But because heart disease, stroke is the number one killer. Lung disease is the second killer, along with fatal accidents. Peace.